Thank you for tuning in to Queen Talk with Teniqua Denise. I am Teniqua Denise, certified life coach from My Recipe, My Therapy. Please follow, like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that. I'm on all social media. Thank you so much for your support and love. Stay blessed. Yes, okay. That's funny. Behind the scenes is hilarious. I think behind the scenes is exactly why we need to be behind the scenes, because it's funny. Anyway, welcome. My name is Teniqua Denise. This is Queen Talk with Teniqua Denise. And I am here back. I don't know which episode this is going to be. Either way, I'm back. And Queen Talk with Teniqua Denise, for those of you who are new, if this is the first episode, whatever it may be, is all about elevation and transformation for women. It's about encouraging it, supporting it, helping women feel empowered, helping women navigate how to become their best selves. I'm all about that. I'm all about becoming your best self, overcoming obstacles and tribulations, managing all the things that we manage, but still being who we want to be. So that's why I'm here. Today's episode is really about defining yourself, self-definition, and self-redefinition, right? Self-redefinition. Because with definition, obviously, some people have already defined themselves, but it's important to realize that redefinition is also a thing, right? Because defining who you are is a process. It is a thing we do throughout our lives. This is not a thing where you define yourself, you are who you are, you become who you want to be, and then it stops. No, it's a journey. It is a thing that we do because we want to continuously get better and better. So that's what today's episode is about. I think it's really important because I asked somebody recently, have you defined yourself? Like, who are you? And they were like, And they were a whole grown person. So I was like, yeah, this is a thing. This is something we need to discuss, because in order to become who we want to become, we have to define who we are currently, and then define the person that we are transforming into, evolving into, that we want to evolve into. So, what is self-definition? I mean, it's something that's crucial. It's crucial to growth. It's continuously and intentionally defining who you are, what your values are, your characteristics, your self-worth. It's about really understanding and being able to share with other people, this is who I am. It's so important. And here's the thing. I find that a lot of people don't even know who they are. And they get into other people's lives, and then they create havoc. And the reason they create havoc is because people don't know what they stand for. If you know what you stand for, nobody can come into your life and create chaos, because you notice it, you understand that's not what you want, you put it into it, you exit left. I have experienced that recently, where people that I cared about deeply showed who they were. But being that my husband and I defined who we were, what we stood for, 10 toes down. We're not going to be shaped. It's not going to be, nobody can change who we are. We know what we believe in. We know our value system. We get it, right? Because we defined it. We have conversations about it. And I just want to encourage women to have conversations with their spouse by themselves, because if you know me, I have a whole meeting by myself, right? I analyze where I'm at. I'm very honest with myself on where I want to be and if I'm on the right track. It's intense. It's nothing easy to do. Being honest with yourself is one of the hardest things to do. So in my journey, I realized that if you do not define who you are and who you want to become, you are just lost in the sauce. You're literally just drifting around, letting people, experiences, society define you, right? If you don't define who you are, other people will define who you are and you will believe them. You'll believe them and they're not even right. Imagine that. Imagine somebody defining who you are as a woman and they got it all wrong. They don't have a clue, but you believe them because you haven't defined yourself. That's why I'm here. That's this conversation. That's what this conversation is about. And I think that is like, when we think about life is so precious, we only get one. You'll hear me say that a lot throughout this show because it's real. It's something that we all need to be reminded of. So here's the thing. How do you let other people define you and think that you can live a life that you want? Right? It's so important to be like, no, that's not who I am. You may think that's who I am. This is who I am. And you can state that to yourself. You don't always have to share it. Or sometimes you just share it with that person and let them know they got it twisted. Or sometimes it's not worth your time, but you remind yourself. Recently, somebody called me a name. It was hurtful. They called me ungrateful. And I know I'm not ungrateful. Like, I'm the most grateful soul, I think, because I am filled with gratitude. So here's the thing. When they said it, I was like, wow, this person doesn't even know me or they're trying to hurt me. Either way, I got to push through this. Because one, you're not going to define who I am. I'm going to let you know who I am. Or two, you're not going to hurt me. It's going to hurt you to know that I know you was trying to hurt me. And I'm going to straighten it out. I'm going to let you know. So that was a big thing for me because it was someone that I really care about and that is not an option for me to let them go or cut them off. Like, no, this is somebody that I needed them to understand the words and that they shared with me and the impact that it had on me. But because I had already defined who I was, I'm a woman filled with gratitude. I'm a woman filled with love and kindness. I'm not perfect. I fall short. But I know I'm grateful. And this is something I have come to realize and I have shared with myself, right? Like when I come to define myself, I know one of the things I'm grateful, I'm thankful, I am blessed, period. Once you define who you are, nobody can shake that. It may hurt, it may sting, but at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, I heard you, but you must not know me. Let me remind you who I am, right? Because on the opposite end of that, if you do not know who you are, if somebody calls you ungrateful, a hoe, I don't even know because I don't speak negatively, but any negative thing somebody calls you, it's like you will understand that's not who you are, and then you won't absorb that. You will not you may be hurt that person calls you that, but you won't be like, am I? Is this who I am? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this is who I am. No. It's like, no, this is not who I am. This is who they want me to be, or this is who they are trying to reflect, or there's a word for it. I can't even think of it right now. But at the end of the day, sometimes hurt people. And sometimes people hurt you because they are hurt. So I realized, guess what? This person called me a name. I need to address this. I need to let them know that's not who I am. They don't need to call me names. I'm very clear on who I am. And that conversation was so healthy. Oh, because I did it, by the way, right? Like, I like to be non-confrontational, not because I'm scared, but because I like my peace. But I decided part of my peace is to nip things in the bud. So I had a very difficult conversation with this person, and I let them know how I felt. And they said to me at the end of the conversation, because it was a long conversation, they said, I know you're not ungrateful. You are very kind. You're a caring person, and I apologize. Now, if I didn't know who I was, I would have never pushed this issue. I would have never pushed the issue, and they would have never had to eat their words and come to me correct. But they did, and it felt good. Not because I need their validation, but because it's important for me to stand up for myself, to know who I am, and to share that with the world, right? This is who I am. This is who I am becoming. And I encourage every woman to do that. It's a process that you should do alone. And then once you do it alone, you want to tweak it. It may take you a week of thinking about, like, who are you? What are your beliefs? What do you want out of life? Where do you want to go in life? This is life. This is your time here. What are you doing with it? Before you know what you're doing with it, who are you? Who do you want to be? I want more women to do that. Take the time out of their day to decide who you are and who you want to become. Two different people should always be, right? If you say, oh, I'm who I want to be, period. I don't want to change. I don't want to evolve. I am perfect just the way I am. We got to revisit that, because you should always want to grow. You should always want to impact even more people. Even if you're doing a great job where you are, there's even greater work to be done. So let's define who we are. Let's redefine who we are. Let's understand who we want to become and really stand in that, so that we can affect the people around us in a positive way and live the best lives. Because that's my whole thing, right? As a certified life coach, did I mention that? Yeah, I'm a certified life coach. I coach women to become who they want to become, reach their goals, manage stress, all the things. But in order to do that, first you have to know where you stand, who you are, who you want to become. It's really important. Here's another thing. When we're talking about growth and being fulfilled in life, right? Can we just be real? Like, that's the whole point, right? We want to grow. We want to feel fulfilled. Once you define who you are, you can grow. You can understand, are the characteristics, the values, how I look at myself, are they aligned with where I want to go? Are they? Like, be honest with yourself. And I always tell my clients, you ain't got to really tell me the truth. You should, so I can help you. But at the end of the day, the most important person you can be honest with is yourself. So if you say, yeah, well, I want to be married, but I don't carry myself in a way that a woman who wants to be married would carry herself. Let's be real, right? And that's fine. It's no shame in that. But then what are we going to do to become that woman, right? To become a wife, to become a mother, to become an entrepreneur, to become a supervisor, to become, what are you willing to do? What do you have to do? You have to look in the mirror and be very honest with yourself. Who are you? Who do you want to become? And how do we become that woman? Sometimes the truth hurts. However, it's okay. Like, we'll get through the hurt. At the end of the day, it's about living the life we want to live, because we only get one. There's no do-overs. There's no start-overs. Like video games, you could press restart. When we're talking about life, no, once it's over, it's done. What do you want your legacy to be? These are tough questions. It's not a fun conversation, but it can be. Because once you sit down and you write it out and you think it out and you're like, wow, this is who I want to become. This is who I am. This is what my beliefs are. This is what my values are. Here you go. You set the bar, and can't nobody really sway that. Not society and their expectations, not people who come in and out of your life that are hurt themselves. So it is an amazing process. And I have a lot of friends, and I'm gonna bring some people on the show. Like, I wanna really talk to other women so we can get different perspectives. Because this show, I don't want it to be just about what I feel and how, I've managed. I want other perspectives. So we'll be bringing some really old women on this show, figuring out, learning about their journeys. My journey is my journey. Everybody has their own. However, as women, we can really encourage one another. It's a hard spot out here. Like, it's hard. It's very difficult to navigate life. One of the ways, just one, this is just a piece of it. Like, I'm not saying this is the answer to, like, being, this woman that is just everything you want it to be. This is just a piece of it. Define who you are. Define where you want to go. Define who you want to be. And then there's other work to be done, and we'll talk about that. So hopefully that encourages somebody to start. Hopefully that encourages some conversations, like with your girlfriends. Like, who are you? Who do you want to be? Like, let's talk about it, right? Because your girlfriends definitely encourage you. They should. If they don't, you have the wrong girlfriends. But I want this space to be a space where we can learn and grow and get some ideas and just have some queen talk. Like, we're queens. We should be able to talk about things that affect us, that affect our lives. And before we even get into all of that, this is why this is one of the first episodes I wanted to do, because before we can get into all of the other stuff, we need to know who we are, right? Keke Palmer, she's an actress. I know some people haven't heard of this whole situation, but she just had a baby. She was at the Usher concert. She had on a little sexy outfit, and she was having the time of her life. And I guess her husband or her boyfriend, her boyfriend, felt a kind of way. He made a couple of statements, and there's been all these conversations, and everybody has an opinion about it. And I'm like, okay, it's cool to have an opinion, but how do you feel about it in your life? Like, what if your man wasn't happy with the way you dressed? How would you handle it? Forget Keke. I think that's what we got to realize. Like, sometimes these gossip sites, it's not about them. It's about, okay, it's not about what she should do or what her man should do. It's about, what would you do? And most women have no clue. You know why? Because they have not defined who they are. They have not defined their values, their standards, what they believe in, their characteristics, none of that. They have no clue. They're just winging it. And when you just wing it, how dare you have an opinion? That's why they call trolls. Like, when you online and you're like commenting on other people's, like, you're a troll. Like, what are you talking about? Worry about your own self, right? And for me, before we end this episode, I'm just going to share a little transparency. I have been blessed with a husband who lets me be me. He's going to let me be who I am. I really don't go too far, because I like to be classy sexy. I don't like to be, too far off the grid. And I think if I was, he would give his opinion in a respectful way. Definitely not on social media. I don't care. One thing I said when I met my husband, I don't care what we go through. Please do not be subliminal on social media. Do not post stupid stuff. Like, let's be adults. And he agreed, and we've been fine ever since, because once you put social media into it becomes immature. And now you're asking for other people's opinions. Why do you need that? when you have defined who you are and what you believe in. As a man, I know I want my woman to carry herself this way, and that's fine. Share that with her, not with social media. That's my only issue with what he did. Not because he wants his woman to be in a, dress a certain way or act in a certain way. That's his right. Like, you have a right to have your value system. What you don't have a right to do is embarrass somebody and to be so insecure that their actions affect your actions. Like, do you believe in privacy? Do you believe in sacredness of a relationship? Or are you just define who you are so that the world can't define who you are? Because now people are saying he's insecure. He looks insecure, but if he's not, he would have known better. If he defined himself as a secure man who supports his woman, who handles his stuff in private, he would have never did that. And I don't think he really defined. He's still young, they have a young relationship. They're not even married. And evidently, his reaction to the backlash, and I'm not going to get into it because I don't. Anyway, his response to it, he's shocked. He's clutching his pearls. He's turning off his notifications. But bruh, you asked for this, right? So if your value system is one of honor and one of privacy, then you move that way. Define yourself. Once you define yourself, you will move that way. You will move in the way that you need to so that it aligns with what you believe in. In order for your actions to align on what you believe in, you have to define what you believe in. I hope that makes sense. The whole point is define what you believe in so that society cannot sway you, so that your actions are aligned with what you believe in, so that you reach the goals that you want to reach because you have defined where you want to go. Do not just live in this world aimlessly. A lot of us do that. Now that we have social media, we can encourage one another to do better. Because when we do better, we can live better, we can achieve better. So, I'm going to sign off there because I think that's one to sit on. Can we just marinate in that? Can we just decide if that's something we need to do because we haven't done it or we did it a while ago or things have changed? Because one thing about defining ourselves, life experiences, as we get older and learn more, it changes, right? The things we used to want to do is not the things we really want to do anymore. That's cool. Understand that. If somebody invites you to a party, I'm not really there right now. It's no confliction. You don't feel torn. You already know. I don't want to party. I want to focus on work. I want to focus on my career. This is where I'm at. This is who I am. Define it so that nothing can shake that. I love y'all. I don't know who's going to be the first guest or what the topic will be, but I hope y'all stay tuned for it. Hopefully I'll get my husband on. He's usually behind the scenes, scratching his beard, fixing the lighting, doing all the things, pouring me a glass of water, apple juice. What is this, honey? So yeah, I hope. Yeah, we're going to bring the heat. We're going to bring some information, some conversations that need to be had, and, just do some sharing and evolving together because it's a journey for all of us. I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time.